Hello and welcome to the Huddersfield Town preview show in association with Sportsbroker. I'm pleased today to be joined by Huddersfield Town centre-back Nabi Sarr and our nutritionist Nessan Costello. How are you two both doing this morning?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, how are you, Nessan? Good, good. I wanted to speak to you too, obviously. Nabi is one of our players. We get the players on quite often, but Nessan is one of our performance staff. It's interesting to get an insight into what goes on behind the scenes at Canal Side. Nabi, if we start with you, how are you feeling at the moment? How's the season been going? Obviously, it's a disappointing performance and result that we've come off in the last game, but otherwise the season's been a positive so far, I think.
Yeah, I think we had a great start. I think the team is feeling well. We had some decent games this early season, and I think we're in a good place at the moment. In the table. So I think we just have to to get the momentum going, even if we had two bad results back to back. So we just have to work harder and do everything to bounce back and to try and stay in that area.
Yeah, you were man of the match against West Brom in our home game before the last one, in the middle of the back three and the fans singing your name. How was that for you? Was it was it one of those where you came back into the side after a little while? Was it a great feeling for you to step back in and put in one of the best performances of the season?
Yeah, of course, because I haven't been playing much, this month. So coming back to the team this way, winning, having a great performance, having the MOM, it was a great feeling for me, and yeah. Like you said, the atmosphere was great with the fans singing and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you're one of the people around Canal Side that always has a smile on your face. It's always nice to see you because you're always warm and welcoming and happy to see everyone. So I think lots of people see that from you and are happy for you when you put in such a great shift and have such a reaction from the fans as well, because we know it means a lot to you.
Yeah, of course. I work really hard every day to get, to be ready when I get the opportunities, and that's what I done that day. I was ready for it, and yeah, like you said, I try to to be a nice guy and smiley with everyone, because at the end there is people that are in much worse situation than us, so it's everything to be enjoy. I'm just playing football, so that's the best best job in the world. So everything to be smiling for.
Yeah, I think that's really nicely put, Nabi. You mentioned your hard work, and I think that's where you come in, Nessan. Do you want to just, before we get into the nitty gritty of what your role is and what your responsibilities and job is here, just give people an overview of who you are and what you do at the club?
Yeah, no problem. So my name is Nessan Costello. I'm a lecturer at Leeds Beckett University, and I consult with Huddersfield Town 3 to 4 days a week, obviously supporting the staff and the players through food to achieve their optimal performance. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So with nutrition, do you work with the players on an individual basis? Is there a group-wide sort of target or goal? How does it work?
Yeah, we put a strategy together with the chefs, where really we try and optimize each eating opportunity for the players and the staff. So that includes breakfast, lunch, snacks, pre-match meals, etc. It's a full-on schedule, as Nabi can account to, 46 games plus all the cups, etc. So we're really just trying to make sure that at each eating opportunity, we're supporting the players to get the best out of themselves, and when they step on the pitch, they can really express themselves, which obviously Nabi did last week.
Yeah, we use Nabi as an example because he's here with us. How do you two work together to make sure that, come Saturday afternoon, Nabi's in the best possible position to perform? What's that like? Nabi, if you want to jump in as well and sort of share what your experience of working with Nessan's like as well.
Yeah, it's been great to work with him. He helped me a lot since I came here, because when I was in Charlton, I didn't have any nutritionist, so that's a big help, because now I have a good idea of what I have to eat. Like game -1, game day, game, you know, the day after the game. So I think since I've met Nessan, I feel better on the pitch. I lost weight, and I think that's a really good and positive thing. Sorry.
Nessan, so if we take Naby as you met him, pre-nutritionist as he came from Charlton, and you know he's mentioned he's lost weight and has a better idea of what he needs to do and eat, which is obviously great to hear. But how do you approach him? How do you sort of use Naby as a case study and go, here he is? And do you have is there a place that you want to get him for and know for every player this is where they need to be, or is it a case-by-case basis? Is Naby Sarr's ideal and 100% completely different to what Lewis O'Brien's is or what Harry Toffolo's is?
Yeah, like it's been really nice to reflect back on the work with Naby, because obviously when we started together, as Naby mentioned, he came from Charlton. I remember the first time I met him, he actually had to isolate for 2 weeks by himself. He was in the Holiday Inn, and obviously I came over on a Friday night, and the manager was going quite aggressive about where we needed to get to and how quickly he wanted to do it. Obviously, Naby was a big part of his plans. So yeah, probably at the start it can be quite tough because you're trying to build a relationship with someone. Obviously, I'm really lucky because Naby is such a nice guy. So like he took everything on board and we like support each other. It was a lot of pictures at the start of like, what are you eating for each meal? Little changes we could make. I'm sure Naby's smiling and reminiscing. It was tough at the start because ultimately we did lose 7 kg. So Naby came down from 102 kg. Now he's consistent around 94.5 to 95.5. And with that, dropped a lot of body fat as well. And as he's attended to, he's performing really well. And last season he played 41 matches for the team, which I think would have been difficult to do in his previous composition. And hopefully, although I know it is frustrating at times to have someone always on your back about your weight and what are you eating at different times, hopefully he would attend that it's not been too painful a process.
How's it been for you, Naby? Sort of, has it been interesting for you to learn what to eat and what not to eat? Is it something that, you know, that figure of how many kgs you've lost, is that something that you can notice when you are training, when you are playing, that has made a difference?
Yeah, that made a massive difference. Obviously, it took me maybe 2 months, you know, to get used to my new weight, you know, because losing, like you said, 7 kg is a lot. So at times I was feeling, you know, a bit weak or no energy. But after that, when, you know, I passed this 2 months, I was feeling really great, you know, could move my body more easy and everything. So yeah, like I always want to get better, and I think this sport is really important. So yeah, of course I had the motivation to do it right, and I think we achieved some positive thing, like to go from 102 and to 94, 95 now. I think it's a big step forward. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and we try to continue to improve, even if it's the little details. It's still moving forward, so that's good.
Yeah, Nessan, what's the thinking behind it? If you go into some more sort of some of the science that you do, you are a doctor. Into some of the actual thinking behind it and the rhyme and reason behind why losing weight works, why when we walk in at Canalside, all of the macros of the foods written down, all of the calorie breakdowns, and the nutrition is it's so transparent here. You can see exactly what the players are eating. You can see exactly what that's made up of and why. It has been sort of sharing that knowledge with them and getting them on board with that process part of what you do and quite important to what you do as well.
Yeah, so the vision for us, as I mentioned at the start, is to provide industry-leading food which supports or optimizes the performance of players and staff, and then really break that down into simple eating behaviors that everyone understands. So Naby could probably attend to us talking about how many portions of fruit and veg we'd like him to have at each meal and how that changes the day before a game or the day after if he's played 90 minutes. So breaking it down to simple, easy behaviors that we can coach. But if we answer your question at the start, I think it comes back to what Naby is expected to do on the pitch and how consistently he's expected to do it. So under the current regime, he's easily expected to run 9 to 10K, maybe 500 to 600 meters of high speed, and to do that 2 to 3 times a week at times. And to be able to do that, you need to be in an optimal condition. So step one for Naby was really supporting him, hopefully in a way that was enjoyable as well, that he still enjoyed his food and it wasn't too restrictive, that we got him into an optimal shape. And now it's really making sure he's fueling optimally for games and then fueling his recovery optimally to go again.
Sort of, I think from like a layman's perspective and from somebody like myself who's, nutrition is nowhere near as well thought about as Naby's is or any of the lads is, the impression you get is that it's chicken, rice, plain food, broccoli, piece of fruit. That might be something you were scared of, Naby, when Nessan came in, is that on all the flavours going out, there's no spices, I know nothing of any taste coming into my diet anymore. Obviously, we see what the chefs make at Canalside, we see what the lads eat after games. It all sounds and looks appetizing, it all looks really good, but there's obviously some great thinking that's gone behind with you and the chefs into what makes that food up and how that works. We hear the headlines about no ketchup, no condiments, all that sort of things, which you can tell us if there's any rhyme or reason behind that as well. But how does that work then? How do you strike a balance between giving the lads food they're actually going to enjoy eating and will participate in eating, and not just sneaking takeaways on the side or whatever if you're just giving them plain food, compared to actually achieving the goals they need to achieve?
I think you nailed it. Like Naby hopefully will attend, but like if you don't like the food, you're not going to enjoy it, you're not going to eat it, you're not going to share it with your teammates, with the wider staff. We want people here a lot in football. It's a massively challenging environment. You work late nights, weekends, etc. So we want people to get up and think, what's going to be on the menu today? What can I look forward to eating? And it's actually healthy for them as well. So we can give you some examples, but typically things that taste great are high in fat. So our challenge, and this is with the whole chef team, and it's led and spearheaded by Colin Oakley, the head chef, but it's to really reduce the fat content. So we just play around with that. So it's a lot of baking things, using alternative ingredients. So with a carbonara sauce, we're using thickened milk instead of cream, which we really just hopefully still provide a good taste. But also the players and the staff know that it's not really going to do anything but support them. Yeah.
Naby, can you sort of, what's your experience of the food here? Because obviously when we see it served up and everything, it looks amazing. Is it stuff that you enjoy eating? Is it stuff, we've got the Instagram account now that the chefs run, HTTV chefs, and the lads are always smiling on that and getting their platefuls and stuff. What's it like for you guys coming in and working with those guys and eating their food every day?
No, yeah, since I'm here, I really be enjoying the food because it's gonna be good for you, for your body, and as well it tastes really good. So I think all the lads, we're all enjoying the meals we're having at the club. That's one of the first thing Nessan said to me. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna change your diet, but it doesn't mean like we cannot add flavors or everything good on it." So it's just a mix of both, of tasting good and being good to your body, and I think that's great, and I think everyone is enjoying. Yeah.
Do you think that's changed your attitude and sort of approach to food on off days, on days you have yourself, or when you're at home? Do you think differently about what you're putting into body and how you prepare food, or what you're eating and how you're eating it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because before maybe I didn't care about what snack I was gonna have in the afternoon, or what kind of dinner I'm gonna have in the afternoon. Maybe a lot of carbs, on the dinner, and maybe I didn't have a really hard session. So at the end, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. So yeah, now even when I'm not having the meals at the club, when I'm home, I think differently than what I used to do.
That's interesting to hear. One point that's unique to yourself, Nabi, and a few of the lads here is obviously your faith and you fast during Ramadan and things like that. And Nessan's mentioned before that was something that you guys work closely in, because those two things are completely against each other. Fasting and putting yourself in peak performance is something that doesn't really make sense. Do you want to, Nessan, shed some light on how you worked with Nabi during, the month of Ramadan to ensure that he was in the best possible place he could be while still observing something that's incredibly important to him and his faith? Yeah,
I think it comes back to respect. Like, we just spoke to Nabi, so Ben Samuels as well, the PhD student who works with us, and it's really just trying to understand from him what challenges he had, how we could help him overcome them. Often with Nabi, because he's such a nice guy, he plays things down and he's happy to just kind of maybe battle on. So it was really just trying to unpick that, even little things like making sure he had his separate dining time at sunset on a hotel trip when the rest of the team would eat separately to him. Trying our best not to have food everywhere when someone is fasting, which can be difficult. And then obviously a big thing for us was trying to provide him with all of the food and fluids that he required to take away from the club. And then I guess the final thing, which was actually a really interesting strategy, which was really cool, and it really showed the strength of the group, was actually bringing on fluids on at sunset exactly in a competitive fixture without getting the ref to stop the game. So that was a really, really big moment, I think. And I'm sure Nabi can maybe speak a bit more about how he felt as a result of that.
Yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed that, because, when you feel that everyone's care about what you're doing, even if it's like religion-wise, that feel really good. Like Nessan said, I remember a game, I don't know which one was it, and Ryan Schofield just, played it like he was injured, because when the keeper is injured, he's not coming out. So the doctors are coming in, but the keeper cannot go out. So just played like he was injured, and that was the time for me, to break the fast. So I could just go on the side, have some water, have some sugar a little bit to finish the game. So it's little things like that that makes things beautiful, because everyone cares. Everyone knows that is it's not easy, but I do it by faith. So for me it's okay. Like Nessa said about try to hide the foods and everything. I've been doing it for years, so now that doesn't happen anymore. So but just the fact that they think about doing this is really nice. So yeah, he made it really easy for me last season, because of the plan he had for me, the program, everything I had to eat after breaking the fast, before starting the whole day of fasting. So yeah, he made it really, really easy for me, and yeah, I think I was in the best way possible to play the games, even if I was fasting. So that was really good.
Is that level of support during Ramadan something that you've experienced before at a club? The fact that they made so many concessions about making sure that the lads weren't stuffing their faces in front of you while you were fasting, and all those little things. Is that something that's quite common at other clubs, or is that something that was unique to your experience here?
No, for me that's the first time I experienced it. The other clubs, they know you're doing it, they respect it, but that's it. That stops there. And here it's totally different. They push the things much further, and yeah, that's really good.
That must be nice to hear for you, Nessan, because obviously you've got to balance things between doing the science and getting things right, which is, one end of your job and incredibly important, but it's still a team environment, and there's still, human beings at the end of it. There are probably people in your type of profession who, forget the personality side of it and the emotional side of it, and just have results and targets and try and hit those, rather than taking into account the fact that Nabi's got feelings and he's got a pair of eyes, he can see what's going on, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think obviously having such good role models in Nabi, we had Yaya, with us last year as well. The senior players, we had 4 academy players that were also going through Ramadan. They're not as experienced, obviously, as Nabi himself. So having someone like Nabi be so conscious, obviously, of what he had to eat as well to perform to his best, because it was a tough period we were going through last year with a lot of games in a short period, and obviously with the fixtures, the way the results were going. So I think the way the whole group came together was excellent. Even Tommy Elphick wrote to the PFA to talk about the need for official stoppages in games and how this needs to be improved in football. So it really showed that, like, not only us, like his teammates really cared. I remember Harry Toffolo speaking to me about how we could support Nabi at different times. So it was a whole club effort, which was really nice to see.
Nessan, you've obviously been at different places and different clubs. Is that sort of environment something that's quite unique to us? And because a lot of the feedback we get, and Nabi, I'm sure you've got an opinion on this as well, is that the squad we've got this year and the team environment this year is so close, it's so tight, there's a lot of unity there, everybody's supportive of each other. There's, they're friends on and off the field, spending a lot of time together away from Canal Side, away from match days, and families involved and things. Is that something that you've seen before, Nessan, with what you're doing, or is that something that's town related?
I think obviously how the boys relate on the pitch and their relationships is so important, and I guess winning games can obviously bring people together like that. I think what's really unique here is that I feel the staff and the players are really close, which is really, really nice, because ultimately when you worked so much together, it's really long hours, it's set a lot of travel home and away. Actually having genuine relationships is key. Like you said, all human beings first and foremost, and if we can understand each other's barriers, then we'll get definitely the best out of each other, which I think is what we're all trying to do. So I would say so, definitely.
Is that your opinion as well, Nabi? Is there real tightness amongst not just you guys as players, but the coaches and the performance staff that work alongside you?
Yeah, I think there is a great unity, between the players, the group of players, but the players and the staff as well, coming from like players and physio, players and nutritionists, even the kitmans, the chefs. I think, everyone is coming along together, and everyone is, really, you can feel that togetherness in the changing room, like you said, when you're traveling, because you travel with everyone. So I think, that's something really, really good. Yeah.
Excellent. I've got one quick question left for both of you, because I know you both need to go and do your jobs now. Nessan, you need to go and weigh the lads and make sure they've been eating what you're giving them. Nabi, you need to go and get weighed to make sure that you've been eating what you've been told to eat. But Nessan, we've had Paul on recently and Callum from the physical performance team, who obviously you work really closely with. How does what they do inform what you do, and vice versa? Is it one of those, the same way you work with the lads on a one-to-one basis and with the chefs on a one-to-one basis, and everything comes together? Are you speaking to them about, they've put in this amount of performance, or their workload's been like this, and you need to react to that in terms of what you're feeding them and how you're feeding them?
Yeah, absolutely. So they provide the stimulus and we modulate it. So we either dampen that down to enhance recovery when it's short turnaround, or we really try and amplify the signal from the training and we adapt. So like obviously this week, 1 game week is really reducing the amount of carbohydrate, increasing fruit and veg, etc., to make sure that Nabi's getting the best out of the training that he's doing. Whereas when we're playing 2 games a week, like last week, obviously the key is recovery. So really ramping up the carbohydrates, reducing fruit and veg. So we support the training that gets provided to the players. So we're almost like secondary to that. So I would say definitely, and every player has individual goals, they have IDPs, etc. So without getting in too much detail, hopefully that gives you an overview.
Yeah, of course. And Nabi, finally, but before we let you go and step on the scales, with the last performance against Middlesbrough, where we lost at home, we've obviously got another big game now in a local derby against Barnsley in South Yorkshire. There'll be a big following there of town fans. What's the mood been like in the camp this week? Obviously, there'll be some frustration and disappointment with that last result. Is that now being put into some real motivation to turn that around and prove what we're really about at Oakwell on Saturday?
Yeah, I think all the frustration we had on Saturday, we just put it into work. I think we all using this, as a motivation to work harder, to make things right, and it's good because we have a good opportunity to do it on Saturday. So we lost 2 games, but we stay focused. We know what we can do, and we're just gonna keep going and do things right, do things better, and I think everything's gonna be fine.
Excellent. Well, best of luck for Saturday afternoon, Nabi, and thank you very much for sharing your knowledge as well, Nessan. I'll let you two go and do your jobs now. And thank you again to Sports Broker for sponsoring the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.